It's an important day for everyone at Chester Zoo, but especially Head Keeper Alan Woodward.
Asha, come on, Poppy.
3 weeks ago, rare Asiatic lion Asha was moved to a specially prepared den to give birth. While male lion Asha pined for his mate, the anxious keepers could only guess how many cubs would be born and when.
It's quite difficult. I mean, she can have any amount from 1 to 4, really. Asha is looking quite big, so really it could be any guess, yeah.
When her due date came and went, they began to doubt that Asha was pregnant at all.
We're still waiting with bated breath. Every morning I come in and check her, and every morning things are just the same, but I'm sure quite soon we'll come in and things will be quite different.
Overnight, there have been exciting developments.
Well, some great news last night. Asha actually gave birth after such a long wait. She's had 2 cubs. You can see the cubs on the monitor there. There's one there, and there's one there.
These 2 tiny balls of fluff are of huge significance for a species that's critically endangered in the wild.
It has been a long wait. You do start doubting yourself a bit whether it's a phantom pregnancy or not, and it was a huge relief when she had the cubs last night. So she was just a week overdue, that's all.
Alan knows the team can't afford to be complacent. Last time Asha gave birth, the cubs died.
We're over the first hurdle with her actually having 2 healthy cubs. So at least it's better this time than it was last time. She was 2 weeks premature the last time. So I think that's why the cubs are that much more stronger. All of the signs are good with Asha at the moment. I mean, she's very maternal to the cubs. She's quite aggressive to her keepers, protecting the cubs against any outsiders, really. So far, so good.
Infrared cameras inside the den provide the team with a window into Asha's world, allowing them to observe the new family without disturbing them.
We'll monitor Asha about every hour or so, come across and check the monitor and check the noise levels as well, just to be on the safe side.
Asha's maternal instincts appear to be serving her well. She's keeping her cubs clean and has begun verbal communication with them.
Asha is looking well. She's looking a bit tired today. The cubs seem quite strong, but obviously it's important that we monitor them and just see how things go. And obviously when you breed an animal as charismatic and endangered as the Asiatic lion, it's extremely important. And it does, the whole team feels extremely proud today as well. Everybody's elated about what's happened. So it's just up to Asha now, just hoping that she's going to be a good mother and then everything goes well.
Alan will be keeping a close eye on the cubs' progress throughout the day. At the reptile house, Flora, the Komodo dragon, is enjoying the quiet life. But her peace is about to be disturbed as keeper Karen Entwistle makes room for a new arrival, coming all the way from Rotterdam.
What we're going to do today is we're going to move Flora from this enclosure because we're expecting the male dragon to arrive, and this is where we're going to hold him once he's arrived. We're going to move her into this bed area first and give her a treat in here, and then coax her straight through into her own bed area where she'll have access outside and into the other on-show exhibit. She does have a very stubborn streak, Flora, and so we're going to bribe her in with food. She'll be able to smell the food and she'll hear us calling. She might ignore us for a while at first, but we're expecting she'll come in quite well. She hasn't fed for a few days because we've been expecting to bring her through, so as soon as she gets a whiff of the rats that we're going to offer her, she should come through quite speedily.
Flora may look slow and sleepy, but Komodos can reach speeds of 20 kilometres an hour, and food is their biggest incentive.
Come on then. Flora, what's this? Come on, Flora, come on. Come on, Flora. Good girl. What's this? Oh, you like your rats, don't you? That's it. Just like that. That's wonderful.
Karen uses a clicker similar to those used to train dogs to encourage Flora into the second enclosure.
Flora, come on. That's it. Next one. Next gate. Come on. Flora. That's it. As you can see, she's quite keen on her rats. So now we've successfully got her through into her bed area. So she'll be happy in here for the night. We'll switch on her basking lamps so she can have a nice bask there and settle down for the evening.
Karen is one of only a handful of keepers in the country that has such close contact with Komodo dragons. She feels lucky to be involved in preparing for the new arrival.
Very few places in the United Kingdom have got them. I think it's only 3 zoos in the country have them now. And so working with them for the past 6 years has just been a privilege and an honour to work with them so closely. You get to know their personalities, if you will. Their personalities do shine through. Flora's got a very independent streak in her. She's a fascinating animal.
Soon Flora will meet the new male face to face. And if the introductions go smoothly, there could be yet another Komodo dragon at the zoo. It will be an important step towards ensuring the survival of the species. Next morning brings worrying news at the lion enclosure. One of Asha's newborn cubs is weak and not moving. Head Keeper Alan Woodward calls in resident vet James Chatterton.
Well, James, there's one in the middle den looks really weak.
Okay.
And the other one she's still just carrying around. I mean, the one she's been carrying around is still crying.
Is she been feeding? Have you seen them suckling at all?
Only that Chris said he thought he saw one suckling about 4:45 around there.
The one that's not moving much is in a pen in the middle.
Yeah.
And she's
in the middle pen now, but she's still going back and forth.
Is she separatable?
She should be able to, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to come down and have a look?
Yeah.
Alan and James must remove the cub from the den if they are to examine it safely. It's a gamble. Without their help, the cub could die. But on its return, Asha might reject it. This is the first time the team has seen either of the cubs up close. This one's a male, and he's limp and unresponsive. 24 hours after being born, Alan was hoping both cubs would be suckling by now.
See how dehydrated we are. I think it's going to be a little bit touch and go, really.
Every minute the cub is away from Asha increases the chances of him being rejected. James needs time to give life-saving treatment, and the clock is ticking. At the Chester Zoo Komodo enclosure, Head Keeper Isolde McGeorge is running through some last-minute safety checks. After months of careful planning, the new arrival she's been waiting for is finally here.
Thanks very much, over and out. We've just had a call to say that our new male Komodo dragon is arriving. He's coming all the way from Rotterdam Zoo and he's been in transit for a very long time. So we're going down to the gate now to meet him and bring him through. This is the moment we've been waiting for a long time. Here we are, we've got the whole reptile team with us now. Even Karen's come in for the arrival of the dragon, and it's Karen's day off. In fact, everybody's come in to see the arrival. You can tell how excited we are to meet this dragon.
The Komodo's travelled more than 500 miles, but his long journey is almost over. Making sure he arrives safely is the responsibility of Dutch keeper Sondra Bijhold.
Sandra, it's so good to see you. It's not been that long, but still. We're going to take him out now. Come on. Oh my God.
She's so strong.
Grace gone.
Hi.
Okay.
Just wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Because he's heavier than you think.
Komodo dragons are the largest lizards in the world. Adult males can grow up to 10 feet in length and weigh over 10 stone. Newcomer Norman is no exception.
We're going to weigh him.
Okay.
Weighing Norman will help the team to monitor his feeding and general health.
108 kilos. I reckon the crate's at least 30 kilos. I estimate he'd be about 60, 65 kilos. That's what I thought he was about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There you are. Talk to him, Sandra.
Ja hoor. Kom maar, ventje. Kom maar.
Norman understands basic Dutch commands. and Isolde has been on a crash course to try and make him feel more at home.
Kom hier in, Spirenia.
Huh? What's that?
Oh, you told me what it was. That's one of the phrases you told me.
That was not Dutch. We'll try it again.
I need a few more lessons, I think.
Try it again.
I think I need a few more lessons.
He looks a little bit sleepy, a little bit tired, but he's okay.
Here he comes. Here he comes, like at
film
last.
it. Kom maar. Hey, Jochie.
Oh, look at that. He is fabulous. Oh, he's a handsome.
He's
boy.
handsome and he's sweet, and
Isn't
I think he
just
will be
look
very nice with the ladies.
He's a lovely
Hey.
boy.
Norman starts to check out his new enclosure. Komodos don't hear very well, and their eyesight is poor, but they do have an incredible sense of smell. They use their long, forked tongue to trap chemical particles in the air. When the tongue retracts, the particles transfer to two special chambers that send messages to the brain. This helps build a sensory picture of their surroundings. In the wild, Norman would use this extraordinary ability to smell food more than a kilometre away. But here at Chester, he seems happy just to explore his new home.
He's had a little while now to settle down. He's had a roam around his bed area. He's looking quite active, so we're going to give him the option of going out. So I'm going to open up the slide door here, and we're going to watch him now and see what happens. Come on, Angel Face, let's have you outside. There we go, in your own time. Go on, do it. He's not sure. There's a curtain there, you see, and to him, that curtain could be a barrier, but he has to know that he can actually walk through it. Be an indication of how smart he is to whether he'll work out that he can go through that curtain. Yes, there he goes. See, he's going through, Sandra.
Yeah, I noticed. Good boy.
Oh, there you go.
Hey.
Whistle.
Sandra's been looking after Norman for 12 years and seems glad to see him settling in well.
He's born in 1994 in Washington Zoo, and he came at Rotterdam Zoo, I think, in 1996. So I take care of him since 1996. Yeah, a little bit of sadness. Yeah.
I can understand very much why Sandra feels very emotional. To actually part with an animal that you've worked with every day, you're building a bond. It's a very special relationship, in particular with Komodo dragons, because they're such a special animal. They really hit you in your heart, and you do feel it. And I can fully understand why Sandra would feel very upset, but Sandra knows that I will take care of him. And as far as I'm concerned, he's already part of our family here.
At the lion enclosure, resident vet James Chatterton and head keeper Alan Woodward are giving emergency treatment to a lion cub that's close to death.
The last thing we really want to do is to take the cubs away from Asha, because she is showing some maternal behaviour towards the cubs. One cub does look quite strong, but this one looks quite weak. I mean, this could have been the weaker of the two. So what we're actually going to try and do now is to rally him round a bit, give him some fluids, and then we'll wipe him all over in the straw from Asha's bed and put him back in. And then hopefully, once he's strong enough, he might start suckling off Asha then.
We've just got some warmed drip fluid that we're just going to give under the skin. What we're trying to do is rehydrate the cub, give the cub something to rally it, ideally so it'll have the strength to suckle back off mum, because what we really want is mum to raise her two cubs. If we pull the cub for a prolonged period, then it's likely that mum wouldn't take the cub back, and therefore we end up having to hand rear it, which is possible, but we'd much prefer the cub to be raised by mum, you know. I know. When you pinch the skin like that, it should really spring back to normal. It's taking It's going down very slowly, so that's a sign that we're dehydrated. It's a little bit sore when you pop those fluids under the skin, so it just pinches a little bit. Now if it was completely gone, it wouldn't be responding at all to me doing that, so the fact that the cub's objecting a little bit, that means there's a little bit of life in it, yeah.
Asha has spent the past 2 hours pacing back and forth between her 2 dens. There's a worry that she might have stepped on the cub.
The thing I'm concerned about is that from this animal's urinary tract, there's a little bit of bloody stained fluid now. That's not normal, so that could indicate...
Why it's so weak?
It could be that there's just a bit of bloody fluid from being born still. Now, if that's really blood in the bladder as well, that might well indicate trauma, so she might well have stood on the cub, you know?
Yeah. I mean, she's
restless
pacing
yesterday.
considerably. I mean, and she's doing the same today. Yeah.
I think if we give it some oral glucose here,
Okay.
The glucose will give the cub a vital energy boost. James hopes it might buy the cub enough time to have another go at suckling.
we look very weak. Okay. I'm just going to have a little listen to the heart and lungs. There's no specific sign of injury on the outside, but I'm just concerned that we might have evidence of a little bit of trauma.
The cub's temperature is dangerously low. Without intervention, he could die from hypothermia. The team prepares makeshift hot water bottles using surgical gloves.
If the cub was well fed and mum was settled and nursing them, obviously the cub would be getting its warmth from mum and also be able to generate warmth because he got a belly full of milk, you know? And I don't think this cub's had much to eat by the look of it, certainly in the last few hours. It's very, very empty in its abdomen. We're just going to put that under the sacking, put near the cub.
The cub has been away from Asha more than 15 minutes. James is keen to run more checks, but Alan is growing concerned.
Do you think we can get some of the straw and leave the cub here for 15 to 20 minutes on the heat with some of straw around it?
The problem is that the longer we leave it away from
time.
Yeah, I mean, the worse it's going to get to get it back to it, really.
Okay. Because we've seen some blood around the urinary tract, I'm going to give some antibiotic as cover. This is an injection that will last 2 or 3 days now. I think it's unlikely that infection is the primary cause of that blood. Because we're so dehydrated, I'm going to give some more fluids under the skin as well.
It is extremely important, and the sooner we can try and get the cub a bit stronger, the better, really. Because we need to get it back in there as soon as possible.
Sorry, cubby. Yeah. So in an ideal world, we would put this cub on a drip. If this was a pet cat, this dehydrated, we'd put some fluids into the vein, you know, and put it on a drip. But because we want the cub to go back with mum as soon as possible, that's not an option. I don't think we can do much more than that, other than, as I say, taking him down to the vet centre and hospitalising it.
James is holding one of only 300 Asiatic lions left on the planet. The pressure is beginning to tell.
It's not a very nice situation, you know. I want to do much more for the cub, but that's difficult because if we keep the cub out for any length of time, then we commit ourselves to hand rearing it. So we'll have to give it a little bit of time, really, and see how we get on. It's certainly going to be a worrying few hours, you know.
She's okay with it. She's calling to it, and she went over and licked it.
Good.
Luckily, she's accepted the cub back, and we're going to sort of like monitor it throughout the day again today. The other cub seems quite strong, a lot stronger than what the one we took out was. So possibly she could be just feeding one and not feeding the other, but this is what we're going to have to look out for today anyway.
It's a stressful time for Alan, who has cared for Asha since she arrived at Chester more than a year ago.
Well, really, this is like my family. So it's an extremely worrying time. It's a worrying time whether to leave them with their mother or to take them away. I mean, that's a huge decision to make. And it's a decision we just can't take lightly. It's been a long night and it's going to be a long day as well. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Mum will come and lie down and let the cubs suckle, but I think what we probably need to do is go away and leave Mum to settle in and give her a bit of time now.
The team has done all it can. Now, it's up to Asha.